aboard United Airlines Flight 868 to New York City. Hold on, everyone, because we're going to be doing some contact carpool chemistry. Today, we're going to learn how to calculate atoms, moles, and grams. Let's say you're given 3.25 moles of silver, and you're asked to find the number of atoms of silver this is. Well, instead of memorizing a specific formula for this, all you need to do is write down our general equation for dimension analysis. What we want is equal to what we have times the conversion factors that relate what we have to what we want. So underneath want, we draw an arrow, and we obviously want atoms. That's what they ask us to find. Is equal to, and what do we have? What does the number of atoms depend on? It depends on the amount that's given to us, which is 3.25 moles of silver. And now we have to multiply by a conversion factor that relates moles of silver to moles of atoms. And we know that the relationship between atoms and moles, well, 1 mole is equal to 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd atoms, or Avogadro's number. From this relationship, we could get two factors. We could say that there's either 1 mole for every 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd atoms, or we could say there are 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd atoms for every 1 mole. Now, because the number on the top is equal to the number on the bottom, the overall value of this fraction is equal to 1. That means we can multiply our 3.25 moles of silver by either of these two factors, which equal to 1, and this will retain its same value. Which one shall we multiply by in order to convert from moles to atoms? Well, we want to get rid of the unit of moles, so we want our factor to have moles in the denominator, which is this one right over here. So we multiply by 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd atoms for every 1 mole. Our moles cancel out, leaving us with atoms. Now, how do we calculate this on our calculator using scientific notation over here? All you need to do is use a special button called the EXP or EE button on your calculator. So what we have right over here is 3.25 times 6.02. Now, instead of pressing multiply, you press this button called EE or EXP on your calculator right over here, and then you go to the 23rd power, 23rd, and then you divide by 1. You press your equal sign, and I come up with 1.96, and we see a 24 up over here, and that 24 means times 10 to the 24th power. And that's how many atoms you have. Now let's say, instead of giving you the number of moles and asking you to find atoms like they did in our previous problem, now they give you the number of atoms and they ask you to find moles. Well, once again, you do not need to memorize any specialized formula for this, but rather we just use our general equation for dimensional analysis again. Want is equal to have times factors. Underneath want, what do we want? We want moles of silver. Underneath have, well, what do we have that drives the moles of silver in this relationship? Well, we're given the amount of 3.8 times 10 to the 24th atoms of silver. And what is the relationship between atoms of silver and moles of silver? Well, we can go back to the same factors that we came up before that related the two together. That is, 1 mole is equal to 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd atoms with these two ratios. But this time, instead of choosing the second ratio like we did earlier to have our moles cancel out, we need to cancel out the number of atoms. And so now we choose the first ratio, 1 mole per every 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd atom. So we put it right up over here, 1 mole for every 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd atoms. And our atoms cancel out, leaving us with moles, which is what we're looking for. So there's a pretty darn good chance that we did this correctly. And it looks like we can put our equal sign now, equal sign down now, since we have the unit that we're looking for. And then we can pop this in on our calculator over here. And we're going with 3.8 EE or EXP 24 times 1, then this big line says to divide by 6.02 EE or EXP to the 23rd power equals, and I got 6.31 moles of Ag. And that's how you calculate moles if you know atoms, and atoms if you know moles. From Delta Flight 868 to New York City, this is Carpool Chemistry. Thanks for watching.